Hi everyone, Mitch and Amanda here from Crown Jesus Ministries. Thanks so much for connecting in today. We're having conversations again about sharing our faith with others, all kinds of people. Amanda, how do we share our faith with people who are angry?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think we only have to look around society and we can probably all agree that anger is an identifying characteristic of our culture today. People are angry. And I think we see it more because people have found their voice. There's so many different spaces for people to be able to communicate what they believe in and how they believe passionately about things, especially through social media. And I think that people are angry because there is so much injustice going on in the world. It's a response to the injustice that we see, all of the things that are going wrong, all of the things that disappoint us. And we see it through, whether it's through people kind of spewing out some sort of angry comments on social media, or whether we see people taken to the streets in protest against things that they disagree with or they feel strongly about.
But people have a right to be angry. There is a lot of injustice, isn't
Absolutely. And I think that the question I would ask is then, where does this sense of injustice come from? Because if we don't really matter, I think justice is saying we do matter. And injustice says that, I do have rights, that I do have value, that I deserve dignity and I deserve respect and I deserve to be treated a certain way. And where does that come from? Because really, if we were just sort of bunched together as a random group of cells from some sort of slime from the beginning of time, and that's what we go back to, then what does it really matter what happens to us here on earth? Why do we have this sense of injustice? But I think this sense of injustice points to the fact that actually we have been created with purpose and with a plan, and that God, who created us, places value in us, and He also created us in His likeness, which also gives us value. And so my challenge would be, and my point that I would be trying to bring across to people who are angry, is that you're angry because you have value and because injustice is wrong. And then secondly, I think...
You have a right to be angry, but it's not healthy to be angry.
But it's not healthy, because what happens is, the second thing is that anger actually puts us into a prison. The anger is what traps us. We're the ones who deal with all of the pain and the injustice and the disappointment, and we internalise it, and it makes us ill, and we suffer from mental health issues, and we see it play out in our lives and in our own physical health as well.
And
it leads us to unhealthy behaviour, how we treat one another, the things that we say to other people. Maybe we want to see harm come to someone. We might not go out and act violently towards them, but the words that we use and the way that we treat people strips them of their dignity and stops them from being able to live a full life. And I think that that's what Christianity has to offer in the midst of this, is that God says that injustice is wrong, that you do have value, and that somebody does need to pay for all the things that have went wrong. And that's where Jesus comes in, because Jesus came and paid the price on the cross for all of the injustice in the world, all of the pain and suffering. And through that, He brings us the opportunity of forgiveness for ourselves and for others.
Oh, brilliant. And that's so important. But Amanda, here's the truth. We still get angry sometimes, right? So what do we do when we're angry? What do you do when you get angry?
Well, for me personally, I point my anger towards the only one who can handle it, and that's God Himself. God is big enough to deal with my anger. He's trustworthy enough to know what to do with it. And I have to trust in Him that He sees the bigger picture of everything that's happened out, and that He will make sure that justice is done. And that in return gives me peace.
That's so helpful. Thanks for connecting in today. Hopefully that will help you in your conversations. Shalom, shalom.